Hi guys, this is James from Brain Candy. God damn it! No! What are you? Hi guys, this is James from Brain Candy, and no, wait, and that's Baby. That's Seth. That's Sutter Pops.
No.
Yep.
No.
You gotta do it.
No.
You gotta do it.
Don't eat Sutter Pops. They're bad for you. They're not even cold.
Oh my
They're like
gosh.
lukewarm.
And that's Tarah.
Hi.
Room temperature.
And we just had our first we just had our first viewing of Power Rangers, 2017, and we
Uh-oh.
it was interesting, actually. Going in, I didn't have any expectations, and I tried to avoid any and all spoiler territory. Seth?
Yeah, no, same. I had low expectations from it. Like everything, I would say, like ever since Bandai released the Goldar toy, and you felt like they showed what Goldar looked like. I was like, okay, they're gonna ruin this movie. Like that was my first impression because Goldar it's like screwing the Green Ranger. Like,
Kris?
I had already seen this movie in theater when it first came out. My expectations weren't really low. They were adequate for the setting and genre of film, I guess. It's the Power Rangers. So my first thought was, oh, cool. So is it going to be like really crappy special effects? Are they going to stay true to Power Rangers? Are they going to stay true to like old school Japanese like kaiju kung fu battle stuff? I don't know. But I think my expectations were about where they should have been for the movie, and that's kind of where I was at with that when I first saw it, or before I saw it rather.
And for me, watching Power Rangers as a kid, I didn't have too much of high expectations for it, but I'm glad that they stuck to being as true as they could with it. And the certain cameos that were in it.
Yes. Oh, okay. Really quick. So we're going to give a review, probably not a play-by-play, but there's going to be... Wait. Right. Spoilers! I'm going to try to get it right. Like... Right? You get it, Rose. So, spoilers. Now that you've heard the spoiler warning, if you do not want to be spoiled for this movie, and you have not seen it because the DVD released, what, Tuesday?
no, it was like 2-3 weeks ago, a while
Was it?
ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Even then, it was like available digitally like a month and a half ago.
So, there you go. If you spoiler warning.
Basically, no excuses.
Wait. Spoilers. I'm gonna, that's gonna be an edit. So the beginning of the movie, I have to say this because we paused the movie a couple of times to, grab snacks or go to the bathroom or whatever. I feel like they crammed 6 hours into 2 hours. I feel like the storytelling was more visual than it was dialogue, and it was very interesting, and I felt like people with ADD would consume it really well, but I feel like their use of imagery was actually spot on. Like I said, 6 hour movie into 2 hours. Rose, don't type on the keyboard. Wait. You might mess something up, baby girl. We're just gonna put... Hey, look! A microphone! Play with it. Yeah. Play with equipment. I love you. You're the best.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I agree. Like I think the editing was a little bit like all over the place, but at the same time, like I was still able to pick everything up. Like I was like I still wasn't. It's weird. Like it's kind of reminded me of like an Edgar Wright movie. Like you know how he edits it. Like
Okay,
you
yeah.
get those quick, except not as good obviously because Edgar Wright's good at what he does, but. No, but I liked it. Like I liked it because it was one of those things where it was all over the place as far as editing and those quick edits, but I wasn't lost. Like I still, like you know, when you see Jason with the knee brace stuff, like I don't know, like I was able to still somehow pick it up, or be like, oh yeah, like you know, like they all realize that they should be dead from a train. At least they recognize that, you know, they just weren't like, you know, got hit by a train and then all he got was a freaking knee brace out of it. Let's be honest, like. They would have been freaking murdered.
Murderlated.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, no, I agree with the editing.
I'd have to say for the certain cameos, if you guys ever watched the original Power Rangers back in the 90s, the actors that played Tommy and Kimberly, they were in the movie, but at the tail end of it and they showed them as a couple still, so that was pretty cool.
And the Easter eggs were kind of funny because in Super Sentai, the Yellow Ranger in Super Sentai was actually a boy, and it was funny to see Trini's younger brothers going, I really like the Yellow Ranger, he's really cool, and then Trini goes, how do you know it's a boy? That was hilarious to me in that scene. But there's one scene I want to talk about that was interesting. Hold on. Spoilers. Was Billy's death. Ow. Jeez, kid. I thought that was... I'm gonna use the word... And I want to know what you guys feel about it, too. I felt like it was a little contrived. Just a little bit. I feel like it was forced. And I'm probably going to get lynch mobbed for that.
I wouldn't be able to...
No, I agree with that. Like, I kind of wish that, like, I understand that they did that for, like, a team bonding moment, but, like, what would have been cooler or, like, better, in my opinion, is if they were fighting Rita and, like, an innocent civilian died, and then that's how they, you know, like, and then that's how they become a team. Like, I kind of wish that, like, it's one of those things where they see a civilian die. It's one of those things where they all, like, were like, we can't say, we could, like, I don't know, like, you know, like, some movies, like, they, like, a hero or heroes, the team becomes a team after a civilian dies or they couldn't save someone. Like, you know, like, the only reason why I kind of wish it was like that is because...
Like that guy right there?
Yeah, like this right here. But, like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it was weird. Like, I don't know, it's just weird that they made a Power Ranger die.
I'm going to be the one guy who doesn't agree with anybody here. So, I disagree wholeheartedly on it being contrived.
Okay.
The reason is because if it had been the leader, if it had been the Red Ranger, yes, that would have been absolutely contrived. It would have been cliche as hell. I mean, how many times our leader is dead, now we must rally because that's what he would have wanted. Okay, well, that is overdone. And the fact that they went ahead and they killed off the really quirky, awkward, autistic guy who was actually the heart and the glue of the team, which forced them to pull their heads out of their asses and go, oh, wait a minute, this is serious now. I mean, I personally think that it was actually a good decision on the directions team, the director team, to actually make that call, and that was the appropriate death in my opinion.
Fair.
Being that he knew all the information.
Well, there's that. So, okay, my assessment of the movie. Number one, Billy was my favorite character by far, and I think they did that on purpose, because I know in the last like 25, 30 years, it's been a slow go for nerds, geeks, socially awkward people, and they're trying to make a social statement while making something, cool and whatnot as far as movies go. And they've been doing a lot of that lately. They've also been doing a whole lot of like the Ghostbusters being an all-female cast. I kind of believe that was pandering a little bit. There's kind of a lot of that going around. But in this case, I think they succeeded where they were trying to and didn't go overboard with it because of the fact that, Billy wasn't over the top weird. He wasn't over the top special. He was right in the strike zone. And I think that his humor also was pretty spot on as far as I'm concerned. The problems I had with the movie were, and Rita, they casted her perfectly. They wrote her perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as far as if I had to go with like a close second favorite character, Rita was my second favorite character because she was a really, really good bad guy.
She was scary.
She was straight up creep factor, and that is something that, granted, the TV show was never supposed to be like that. It was based off of Japanese shows that were basically the exact same thing, where it was, really bad choreography, really bad set pieces, really bad special effects, delayed reaction, I got punched in the face, flip, That's what Power Rangers was based off of, and they just brought it to America and had an American cast. The original Rita Repulsa was actually dubbed over. She was like one of the only Asian characters outside of Trini on the show, and it kind of looked an awful lot like they had like some old 1970s film footage from Power Rangers in Japan and just used that and then filmed it with a modern American cast.
That's
I didn't get into Power Rangers enough.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
Super Sentai was that.
Okay, I only watched the first 3 seasons of Power Rangers when I was a kid because it stopped being good after that, at least in my opinion.
No, that's fair.
And then I never really looked into its origins or anything like that. So overall, I liked the movie a lot. There's some things that I wasn't a huge fan of, Billy, Rita Repulsa, just knowing that it was Billy who had the information about where the crystal was. Kind of just didn't go into that other than, it's Rita Repulsa. Sure, she could know everything. But then what's the point? Where's the conflict for Rita to be like, well, crap, I don't know where the crystal is? If she just knows who has the information, then, there's really no struggle for her. It's just...
At least the cast and her characters were relatable.
Yeah.
They kept it relatable to the audience.
I think my third favorite character would have to be Trini, actually.
Yeah.
She had the most... I can't relate to most of the characters, but because I've never been like a popular jock who carried an entire team. I've never been the crazy Asian with a sick mom. I've never, I can see where that would be a thing, but I've never been that guy.
Crazy Asian, yes. Sick mom. No.
Well, yeah. Being Mongolian makes you crazy, I guess. But she was the second most relatable character outside of Billy because it is hard nowadays, and even long before that, to be able to come out. I think that she might have overplayed the I don't give a shit bad girl thing a little too much, but I think that, her explaining, what it's like to live with her family and how they're just so normal and how they want her to be normal and that, she can't be normal because in their eyes she's not. I think she did a good job there.
She was the most relatable for me. So my favorite characters straight up were Rita Repulsa. I absolutely loved her. But Trini, the whole, you know, you have to be normal because you have to have these friends and you have to dress this way. That was my life, straight up. And it turned me into a jerk all the way through, from middle school, all the way through high school, all the way through college. I didn't talk to anyone. I thought everyone was dumb because I was like the really like punk goth sort of like, screw you, I don't care. Nothing matters to me. And that kind of resonated with me a lot in her character because I was like, yeah, I've come from a household where everyone wants you to be normal and dress a certain way, and it was dumb. And it was, yeah, I think they definitely tried to make them more relatable. What I was expecting from the movie was camp and cheese. I was not expecting to get to see these 5 teenagers' lives in a 2-hour movie, which they could have made a mini series off of and make it work the way that it did, because I really did like this movie, even though there are some parts like Billy being so into his so OCD and paying attention so much that he found the crystal, and not even on happenstance. That's what he did. His dad was a miner. He surveyed. He was very, very observant. That I got that through the story. It was just, I felt like that was a little contrived, just a tiny bit. Like, hey, you found it. It's under Krispy Kreme. You know, it was just a little weird.
I also just want to point out for a moment that because when the movie first, like when they first showed trailers and whatnot, and there was a black dude playing Billy there, much like episode 7 was a lot of people going, why is it a black kid playing? First of all, those of you who have a problem with that, piss up a rug, man. It's really not that. It's honestly, I think it actually worked better. I think it worked better because it's a modernization of Power Rangers. And if you actually watched any of the series, the Black Ranger and the Yellow Ranger and the Pink, they've all been different ethnicities. They didn't stick with the whole, well, it's a kind of a tan white dude is the Red Ranger, and the Pink Ranger's some valley girl, and the Yellow Ranger's an Asian, and the Black Ranger's a black dude. Like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing throughout the series. It started out that way, but it didn't continue that method. And I honestly, I think people need to stop. I think people need to stop, getting butthurt over things that really just aren't that important. I mean,
She's just chewing on her hand.
I honestly, I like that they did it the way they did it. It also provided a modicum of humor between Zach and Billy when Zach goes, "Hey, I'm black." He's like, "No, you're not. No, you're not." Like,
She dropped it.
I find that that provided a little extra humor at a moment where the movie could have used a little extra humor. That's something else that I thought was interesting was the writing. I don't know. The writing was actually really good, and it wasn't too dialogue-y. It wasn't missing a whole lot, at least in my opinion, as far as dialogue goes. I don't know how everybody else feels, but
No, like I said, the editing, the visual storytelling, you didn't miss anything.
yeah.
And it didn't have to have a bunch of boring dialogue, whether it be boring or not. It told a story, kind of like in life, you pick up on things,
Yeah.
doesn't have to be said, and that was really awesome editing.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like I missed anything. It didn't really feel like the first time I really noticed it is when you brought it up, where it just felt all of a sudden cut editing, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't really feel that when I first saw it. It felt pretty seamless. I have ADHD too, though, so it felt really seamless to me. I catch things really quickly, so I didn't really notice that it was really just kind of abrupt in the editing. But at the same time, it really worked, and it held your attention there wasn't anything that seemed drawn out to me.
No, I actually agree with you on the humor. The humor was, I don't know what, the humor was perfect for the movie.
Yeah, it was.
Like, it was like,
spot on.
it wasn't like, I didn't feel like it was forced or overdone. Like, it was, like, you know, like, Billy made jokes that I'm, like, sitting there, I'm like, you know, like, someone with, because you could definitely tell he had, like, you could definitely tell, like, he was OCD and smart. Like, he made jokes that were just, like, you're sitting there, like, I don't know, like, they weren't forced.
He made jokes that he didn't understand were jokes. Like, he was just being serious. No, I can't say that word. Well, you can't say that word, but you don't understand how funny that is.
Yeah.
Like, it really felt... I'm a comedy enthusiast. I love comedy. It's my favorite genre, and you can see it in some of our other videos that we've done with our impression challenge and our don't laughs.
Shameless plug.
Yes. But I honestly believe that the comedy in this one was really spot on. There wasn't too much. It wasn't enough. And it wasn't like... one of the other things I really loved about it was there was a moment where the scene where Zack steals the Mastodon Zord and takes it for a joyride. The scene where
and tell it on the
the nuns killed me because it's like they're about to get wiped out by a Mastodon Zord.
They are
and
none the wiser.
They nearly get missed, and they don't even know what's going on. They're just in their own world. That was beautiful. I loved it. It was great. I also loved the fact that like they come out of where the crystal is and all this fire, and they look badass in their Megazord. And the moment they go to take their first step, it's eating shit. It's just eating pavement. Like, it made sense because, it made sense because it's like, okay, well, they've literally never done this before, and it shows in the fact that, we made a mistake. But it also shows that they think quick on their feet. Granted, I know it's in the plot to do that, but it shows that the characters are thinking on their feet enough to be like, yeah, okay, well, we messed up this one time. We have to work together to not trip over our own feet again.
Yeah.
And so I thought, and that plays into the seriousness and the comedy of the actual movie, at least in my opinion.
Now, I've got to bring up a nerd thing because I loved the original Power Rangers when they would form the Megazord and you would see it. You would see it.
I actually like the fact that you didn't really get to see a whole lot of the transformation. It left a lot to the imagination on how they. Because I'm sure they're going to make another one. I'm sure you're going to get to see it.
I hope they make another one.
But I think for their first time in the Megazord, which seemed to me like they did not intend on it happening. It just the Zords, I guess, in tune with them, were like, you don't need to die today, so let's form the Megazord. Like I feel like that's basically what happened for their first transformation. Their Zords did it for them. And
they left you off at a cliffhanger, so hope for a second one.
Oh yes.
There's a few cliffhangers. I was gonna say because you got the Zeo crystals too. I mean, I would love to see a Power Rangers Zeo movie.
Yep, the Zeo crystals.
She said there's more. She goes, there's gonna be more. Like Lord Zed can easily come. Like I mean, there's so.
Oh,
And
man,
then introducing the Green Ranger, that should be really interesting.
I cannot wait for Lord Zed. He of the bad guys was my favorite and was pretty scary in the show. Considering how campy that show is.
And it's funny.
Imagine what he's going to be like if Rita Repulsa was like she was in this movie. Zed's going to be ridiculous.
Oh my god, the skin. He's skinless too. It's going to be so graphic. Like, you're going to see a brain throbbing. That's going to be awesome.
It's funny because he's an American-only villain, and the Rita Repulsa-Zed combination was only an American thing. It wasn't a Sentai thing.
It worked, though.
It worked, but Fox got a ton of, like, parents' letters saying, he's too freaking scary. What were you doing? And Fox didn't tone it down at all. They're like, nope, we don't care. He's a villain. And
he is.
And that would be interesting to see.
So Rita Repulsa in the original series brought most of the campiness of a bad guy. Like, if you've watched any old Japanese TV shows or movies where there is a cheesy-ass villain, it's Rita Repulsa, no matter the gender. Like, Rita Repulsa was corny all the way through. So when they introduced Lord Zed, it was a shock to the system, at least here in America, because A, they didn't have him in Japan, and B, he wasn't campy. He wasn't cheesy. He was a legitimate bad guy.
Yeah.
So when they introduced him, everybody lost their shit because they're like, "Whoa, what the hell? You went from afternoon kids show to like adults can watch this and get a little tingly feeling at the end of their hair. Like it's weird. It's just weird how they made that jump. But I think it works out really well, and I think the pairing of Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed actually brought Rita Repulsa up from being cheesy and corny to actually being a legit villain for once.
And
we'll have Goldar back as well.
well, we'll see. I will say this about Goldar. I like gold.
I had a moment. I had a gold member moment when
Gold
that
member
happens.
Austin Powers.
I really did have a... So, I suspect that Goldar was done the way he was done in this movie because that is his primordial form. I suspect that Goldar is going to look more like Goldar from the original series if they introduce him again in a future movie. That's just kind of a theory I have because, I mean, Goldar was a reoccurring character for quite a while, and for him to just be a one-shot in the movie is kind of, I'd be kind of disappointed. I don't know how anybody else would.
No, yeah, I feel the same. I think I don't know how accurate this is, but I'm curious. I'm thinking they made that change in the movie because they made Rita Repulsa scary as all hell. Like, let's be honest, because I remember a long time ago reading that the main reason for Goldar being the way he was in the movie and the show was because that was their Lord Zed. Basically, that was supposed to be their scary guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would be awesome if it was his primordial form because I want to see more of Goldar. Goldar was the main henchman. He was awesome. Like I liked him, and I don't know. Like I don't know. Like it's just weird. It was weird seeing someone that you're used to a certain look of Goldar because he was in the first 3 seasons back, like in almost every episode, talking, doing all this stuff, and he was actually like kind of like free-willed. I didn't like how it seemed like he was like Rita's Megazord. That's what it felt like. It felt like he was Rita's Megazord.
Well, at one point,
Yeah.
she literally was.
Yeah, that's right. She went into him. Yeah. No,
until it got Sparta kicked. Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Blast you to the
This
moon.
is Angel Grove. That's basically what happened.
Oh man. Yeah, that I wish I could punch. Kick. I was like, wow, that's a nice push kick. Wow, you kicked him right into right out of existence there for a second.
Slap to the moon.
That was hilarious.
So I kind of felt like they went with a very safe bitch slap joke after they slapped her into orbit. Did you see that? Did you slap her? Yeah, weird, right? Like, it was funny, but I was like, at the same time, I was like, somebody wanted to say that they bitch slapped her. Like, somebody in that cast wanted to say it. I don't think they were allowed to ad-lib a whole lot for this movie.
I think that was one of those other jokes too, where I liked that, like where it was a Billy, like it was a comedic moment for Billy. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't even trying to be comedic. It was like, because obviously that, oh, did you slap her was obviously like just to bring up. Remember that was like how they met when he slapped the bully, and they say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like
He's
it was,
like, I got you. I understood. I got it.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was cool
Yeah.
to see Billy saying that. He goes like he goes, oh, there's a bully, and then he just stops looking around. He goes, we got it. Like, realizing that, hey, like Trini and Zach weren't there.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, and that's part of Billy's charm in the movie was that he's, without
He's spot on with comedy and he's spot on with humor, but he doesn't understand or get jokes.
Exactly.
Because I mean, I have a few friends who are on the spectrum, and they're really funny people. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
They have no idea what you're laughing at. They could say something, and the comedic timing is perfect, and you laugh, and they're like, "What? I was being serious." I'm like, "You may have been serious, but that was funny as hell." I mean, I'm envious of some of my my autistic friends because of that. Because they have comedic timing that I just don't have, but they also don't have an understanding of comedy the way I do. So it's kind of a wash. But yeah, Billy was spot on
Good.
everything with comedy. It was good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have anything to add in the
comments below.
Comments below, and then
Word up.
and we're gonna try to do these things Mondays.
Movie Monday.
If you have any suggestions as far as movies you want to see us critique, comments below. Let us know what's up. Tell us what you want us to see.
Yep.
But no Twilight. That's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
Oh, you don't like the Twilight
No,
Saga?
no, and we're not doing 50 Shades of Nope either. That's never gonna happen. But yeah, in the comment section, just let us know if there's anything you want us to critique, see what our opinions are, whatnot.
Alright.
Peace.
Peace out, Boy Scout.